to my video series on wholesaling your handmade business. We have already gone over a lot with pricing and finding retailers and pitching retailers, and last week I walked you guys through my wholesale website, but today I want to give you kind of a hot take on Faire, the wholesale platform for 2024 and beyond, because in my opinion, there have been some changes and some things that really don't sit so well with me, so I wanted to at least give you my personal perspective. It does not mean that I know everything, but in this small business world that we're kind of creating here on YouTube, I promise that I'm always going to be transparent with you, and I do think that some of my previous Faire videos have gotten a lot of traction and questions about it, which were filmed back when I was like killing it on Faire, and that's just not the case for 2024. Like everything, there are pros and cons, so let's go through some of the positives that I think Faire has, because I still think it's a very viable platform if you are trying to grow your wholesale business. So the first thing is they have just launched this new exclusivity app, which is fabulous because a lot of my retailers, almost all of my retailers actually, ask for protection. A lot of the times they'll ask for zip code protection, but Faire has actually done something really unique in that they've done a map and a certain mile radius from the store. So how this works, you can set your annual spend that a store must meet in order to get exclusivity, which means that within that certain mile radius, no other retailer can purchase from me. I currently only have one retailer signed up because I do think it's a little bit new, and I have set my minimum spend to $1,000 a year. I have seen some other brands do $10,000, $8,000, a little crazy. I thought $1,000 was reasonable for someone to claim exclusivity on Solette right now where I am with my business, and I felt like that was a good place to start. The other feature that has sort of changed a little bit is their top shop. They have always had this, as far as I know, maybe for the last 2 or 3 years. And it's a great way to sort of give you a badge that tells retailers that you've met certain criteria, and it sort of gives them a level of comfort around you as a brand. So I really like the top shop because if you don't have a ton of reviews on your Faire site, then the top shop kind of gives an added bonus, and I think it does help from a retailer's perspective. And the metrics have changed a little bit. It used to be based mostly on reorder rates and how often you were uploading products, and some measures that were just not possible for a lot of stores. That's now changed, and I appreciate it because it's a little bit easier for me to get top shop. Now you have to do a few things. You have to upload your catalog, or at least give them access to your wholesale website so you can make sure that you are aligned and streamlined. Faire is really trying hard to protect the retailers from price differences. So the other metrics are, I believe you have to get 5 orders in the quarter. Mostly things like your review rating, your canceled orders, missing items, and just general timeline of, are you fulfilling orders when you say you're going to. So those are the 2 things that I really do appreciate with Faire. I think that they're great, they're different, they're things that I can't easily offer on my own wholesale website. I also think Faire giving retailers net 60-day terms is huge. There are a lot of benefits to the retailer, and I understand why a store owner might want to buy on Faire. It is a lot easier. So I do think those are all reasons why the platform is still really good. But like I said in the beginning of the video, let's just go through some of the things that I'm just having a little bit of trouble with. And the first one right off the bat is traffic. I went and pulled my analytics from 2022, and for the same time period in 2022, so I pulled January through April, end of April, I had about 520 people visit my Faire page back in 2022. I pulled this same time period 2 years later for 2024, and it's something like 160 people. So my traffic has decreased significantly. And I do think there are a lot of reasons for this, and some are just out of the hands of Faire. It's not necessarily 100% their fault. I have about 200 retailers in my bank on Faire who have purchased from me at some point in the 3 years that I've been on the platform. I email them about once a month, and very, very rarely does that result in a sale. I think a lot of the retailers that I sold in the beginning have actually closed their doors. So I think that's a huge piece of why I'm not getting the same sales as I used to. I think it might be a huge piece as to why you, if you're brand new, maybe you're not getting the sales that you once heard people talk about. Faire used to be about 1/3 of my wholesale business. It's probably like 5% now. I'm doing so much more reaching out on my own and trying to open stores that way because Faire just has not been pulling its weight the way it used to. Maybe that could change. So I definitely think keep trying if you really want to, but also don't get discouraged if and when you get on the platform that you're not seeing all these sales just roll in. That leads me into my second point. There's just oversaturation in certain categories, specifically in soap and body care. I think that Faire has let in a bunch of different vendors in trying to create a diverse mix and give the retailers tons and tons and tons of options. I've actually talked to some of my retail friends who use Faire a lot, and they no longer browse the same way they used to. It used to be able that they could type in something and they would go through a few pages, and they are finding some of the quality of products to not be as good, which ultimately hurts the rest of us. Now that I've sort of gone through the pros and cons of Faire, I have always gotten questions from some of you guys about how you can make your Faire page a little bit more desirable or eye-catching and what kind of information to put on there. One thing I didn't realize until recently, a lot of retailers love to buy on Faire because it directly integrates with their Shopify stores, and it will pull not only images but descriptions as well. The other thing I did that I think has helped me, I actually went and filmed some product videos for each of my products and put that on each product listing. I was trying to kind of figure out, okay, if I was at an actual trade show and I was standing there and buyers were coming in asking about my brand, what would I tell them? How would I show them the product? What would I walk them through? And I actually filmed a video for all 3 of my key products and sort of did that little sales video. I think it's really helpful for them to not only see the product, but meet me. It gives it a little bit more of a human touch, and I just think that it's been a little helpful. The only other thing I would add to your Faire page is just making sure that you have a little bit of information on your story and about, and that your banner is kind of eye-catching and good. It is a pain for some reason to size that Faire banner. It's like an awkward size and dimension, and it crops photos terribly. So I would try and spend some time just creating a really good banner. The last thing I'm gonna just touch on is getting reviews. They are so helpful, but getting them is kind of like pulling teeth. So what I've actually done is I've gone back to some of my retailers that have placed orders, because I think you can only review it in a certain window. I wanna say 3 months within the order. So you can't do it for everybody, but if you are on Faire and you're trying to get reviews, pull all your last 3-month orders and try and follow up with the owners on the Faire Messenger, or if you have their email, great, or even Instagram DM. But I would use the Faire Messenger if you don't have any of that. And I would just sort of reach out and say, hey, how are sales going? I would love to have some feedback. At least ask for a little bit of a review. That has helped me in the last couple months get some newer reviews, because I think people just don't think about it. It's just another kind of email in their junk inbox, but it does help you get a little bit more credibility. So I would go back and use that message box on Faire and just try and reconnect with some retailers and just kindly ask for a review, and hopefully that will help you in work. But there is no magic button to get the reviews either. It is sort of just try and hope that some of the retailers will support you and give you a review. So I think I covered everything I wanted to in 2024 for Faire, but I just felt like there were some changes, and I always am transparent with you. I think some people don't love my transparency because it's not always rainbows and butterflies, but when you run a business, nothing is 100% rainbows and butterflies. So I wanted to give you sort of my hot take on Faire. I still am gonna be on the platform. I still really enjoy it. I do occasionally get new retailers, which is fabulous. And it is still much more affordable than me spending $10,000 to go to a trade show. So I do think it is a fabulous platform. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If there was something I missed, please leave a comment down below. I will do my best to reply, and I will see you in the next video next week for another wholesale video. Bye.